So here we've got a new take on Colin Chapman's iconic Lotus 7. This one by Great British Sports Cars, and this model is called the Zero. It's a familiar shape. It's actually a slightly scaled up version of the Caterham that we've all come to know and love. So you've actually got a bit more space in the cockpit, so more space for the bigger drivers. So if you're over 6 foot tall or around my height, it's a bit more room for your legs. It's not quite as tight and confined a space. You don't have to jockey the gear change quite so much. On the Caterham, you've got to be very, very accurate with that, unless you're using the sequential drive. But this one's got a nice small little gear stick, but your elbows aren't so cramped. With the open cockpit, of course, you can get your elbows out gorilla style for extra space. But there's a few other little differences with this one. It's a space frame chassis, so you can see the bare bones of it effectively. But these panels are actually integral to that chassis. So they're bolted on, they're stressed components, which effectively makes it into a monocoque chassis. Makes the chassis more stiff, better for cornering, high speed, all that good stuff. Maybe makes it a little bit more gnarly on the road, so you're going to feel the bumps a little bit more through a harder chassis. But 80% of the components are made in-house. It's a British company, so it's all made in their factory, including their own. They've got their brakes, suspension, they've got their wishbone suspension, all made back in the factory. So it's quite cool to have something that's so homegrown all in one spot. So I've got two challenges for this car today. Drag racing, obviously at Santa Pod, we're going to put this up against something outrageous like an SF90 or a Ferrari 488 Pista to see how this compares to a more powerful car that weighs more. And I've got a drift pad, so I'm going to put this car to the test by throwing it sideways, which is as nature intended, basically. I've got some new Yokohama's AO52s. They're race performance tyres that are also designed for the roads. They've got a tread pattern that's effective in the rain, but really what they're good at is gripping on a dry track, which is exactly what I've got today. So it should be exciting. I hope it's going to be a dynamic test. Let's see what happens. So this is a basic test, weight versus power. I'm lightweight, he's a heavyweight. I have 265 horsepower and you have...
That's just gone up from 170 in the horsepower in the car park over there.
I didn't think you'd come along if you thought I had too much power. You've still got what?
I've got 710 horsepower in the Pista. I'm not sure how much it weighs, I don't really know. Yeah. It's lighter than the Performante, rear wheel drive, so on very sticky tyres. Cup 2s are good tyres. Yeah. I'm not sure how this is going to go.
Good, I like that. You were very confident earlier. You got a 4-litre turbocharged engine versus a 2.5-litre Duratec.
Even if this gets the jump because it's light, 710 horsepower is going to come back and eat you for breakfast.
I should also let you know I'm running a Yokohama performance tyre for the road, so it's quite sticky.
It's a good job I don't know what that means, isn't it? So I can't take it in.
It's basically got a racing compound that hopefully is going to sync nicely with the drag strip. So good luck, and we'll see which one is the fastest. And the winner takes the other one's car home.
Winner doesn't run of the Santa Pod.
You got your arm restraints, sir? Arm restraints. You need arm restraints on.
What are those?
Open top vehicle.
I've no idea what that means.
With your seat belt, you've got belts around your arms that fit to the buckle.
No.
Yeah, but you need them if it's an open top vehicle. Mandatory at this track.
So I've got some handcuffs now, very kinky, which means I'm allowed to drive the open top car and be safe. But Mario Kart here, look at him. He just put some trainers on. He's got no seat belts or anything and he's fine. He's absolutely fine like that. Nothing to see here. There's an SUV on the start line. It's kind of like bringing a spoon to a gunfight, isn't it? So I'm super safe now because I've got my hand restraints on. I've attached them to the center point on my 4-point harness. So you tighten these up, but I've encountered a slight problem. So I now have my helmet on. And I can't actually, I can reach it. I can just about reach it. All right, so this isn't as bad as it looked. It's just slightly more complicated. Arm restraints, brilliant idea. Brilliant, there we go, look. I mean, slightly restrictive when it comes to steering the car, and playing with your kit. Just about goes on. Wish me luck. Easy.
When you're doing a burnout, do it in here.
Okay. Oh,
Box, don't do it in there.
am I in trouble? Thank you. All right, so he's going to wet that down so we can brake traction, warm the tyres up, get a little bit of temperature in, then moving forward to the super duper sticky stuff. Let's see if Benedict Fowler knows the score as well. There he is, look at that, eagle-eyed little devil. We don't overdo it, because we don't want to break the drive shafts. Good morning. Sexy, aren't they?
Hey?
They're sexy.
You think so?
I think so. Well, looks like I f***ed that one up. That was not good. I missed the start, and this is going to be a very difficult one to live down. Very difficult. Yeah, I can't say that I expect Ben to be very gracious about that run. Hi! Hello! Hi! Yeah, that was just a practice one. That was just a practice one. No, it was just a practice run. Let's go, let's do the real one now. Okay. He bought it. He bought that one. That was good. That was a nice little crock I sold him there. But slightly embarrassing. So now we go for the second run, now that the tyres are hot, and see how that goes. That did not go exactly according to plan, so that's just slightly embarrassing. I missed the start, but I've managed to convince him that was just the warm-up. Okay, round two, the tyres are warm. I'm gonna see what I can do. So it's got a lot of grip, and actually, it's so grippy, it doesn't feel like it's got as much power as it has. But we'll see if I can get that off the line. But unfortunately, I think I might be about to lose.
I'm actually going to not put it in race, I'm going sport. I think it's faster in sport.
But for a moment though, there was a moment that I was in front in a much smaller, much cheaper car. 40 grand, what is that? £250,000 Ferrari. So at least there was a moment in time where I felt slightly superior, but it just didn't last very long. Fair enough, fair enough, okay.
We should try the Lamborghini!
Well, I was in front of you for 2 meters.
We could try the Lambo!
Yes, please. Still think it was a valid test, and this car actually did pretty well. But you're considering that it's a lightweight kit car, you can make yourself, you can do a lot of tuning with this. But for 260 horsepower versus the monster, it was pretty good for while it was going. I did think that after about 50 miles an hour, I would get smashed to pieces. I wasn't going to tell him that. But actually this one did acquit itself pretty well. Thus, I get the fun of using the clutch. So I've got to moderate the wheel spin with a combination of clutch and throttle. And really Ben is just gunning it and letting the car do the work for him. So the traction control system on that Ferrari, which is phenomenal, will have done its job very, very well. Interesting that on his car, he's better off doing it though manually, not using the launch control. So maybe he's found a little technique there to kind of get round some of the traction control that restricts the power. Anyway, fair play to Ferrari. They have been known to turn out a few good models over the years. Now this will be interesting. Rear-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. Ferrari versus Lamborghini. I actually haven't got a clue. You can read these stats and everything, but I'm not sure I always believe it, because half of it really is how they put their power down. But that has got four-wheel drive. So Ben is good in a straight line. He thrashed me in my GBS, so let's see what happens with this one. But it's good to have a power upgrade, I have to say. At least I got a fighting chance this time. Oh my lord. That is just got danger written all over it. What is this? You've got a trike with a skinny little front wheel that cannot be stable in a straight line with those big rear wheels. He can be all over the show. I'm watching that. I'll book him a spot in A&E. And that lethal looking little go-kart. Look at the state of this. If you had to drive one of those, what would it be? That. You'd go in, I would as well. That trike does not look healthy at all. I love the way he's just doing it in a hoodie.
It's so hot there.
It is hot. All right, I'm going to try the right lane this time, since I've been a little bit unfortunate in the left lane so far. And I like to blame anything but myself or my skills. See if I can do better this one. It's also quite a privilege having paddle shift. But to be fair, I got the gear shifting pretty well on that GBS. Got some nice little peaky gear changes. And actually going into second, controlled a tiny bit of wheel spin. So there's really good power in second. This time I think that the whole show is going to be literally just the launch. Get the tyres warm at the warm up. And I really think that beyond the first 40 miles an hour, this thing's just going to grit and shoot off. But let's see. Now that is exactly the problem with launch control. When you're doing the drag race, there's no time to push the button and engage launch. So I had to fudge it. And if I'm absolutely honest, I cheated the start. I just went. I just kind of went for it on the orange and timed it perfectly. But I can't say that that was very sportsmanlike. Whether I should admit that to Ben or not, I don't know. But that's exactly why launch control buttons just don't always make sense. So I used race, but I had no time to get launch mode. I just went. Let's go again. Around with the launch button and it didn't take a gear, so that half second while the car was hunting in the clutch, I lost out off the line. Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks. I'll take the first run, I think.
I don't think we're going to get better than that.
No, but I f***ed up the launch mode.
Do you want one more?
Maybe.
Go on then, one more.
All right, don't mess it up this time, Collins. It's gonna be fast, fast! with the launch control button. As soon as I get there, brake, launch button, and then pretty much go. But it's very easy to cock this up. All right, CT off. Let's get these tyres hot. What? What? That's rubbish! That is just weird. That is weird. Do not understand that. Managed to get the launch control on, and it hesitated, and I didn't get any revs. I can't get my head around this unless I've done something completely wrong. Just makes no sense. You're better off doing it manual. All right, let's just pull over. Right, what is going on here? What is going on? Launch control, not good. It revs low.
That is so bad.
It's got no revs, listen.
Yeah.
It has no go.
Yeah. Right, I want some food.
Thank you.
That's all right, it was fun.
Let's do it. Well, that was interesting, educational. Love this car, absolutely amazing. I always thought the 458 was as good as it could possibly get, and then the F8 with the turbo, a little bit wilder to drive with the extra power, but actually in a lot of the times on track, especially when you're using the Manatino, it's just so much fun. And you imagine that it might be overpowering for a lot of people getting into these cars for the first time, but it's amazingly straightforward when you've got the Ferrari TC sort of control systems really helping you kind of grow as a driver. Because Ben, really, very limited experience, but he's adapted to these really, really quickly. You think for someone who passed their test a couple of years ago, to be cruising around with a 700 horsepower supercar, and the car supports him enough to do that. That four-wheel drive Lambo and this car both really look after you. He's still a knob, but it does look after him. He wants to switch cars now. It's like a big kid in a toy shop. Well,
I'm not surprised the Pista won every single run. It is just so fast. However, I was getting closer in that towards the end.
Well, I was trying different stuff, but when I went organic, that was the fastest way.
It was when I did my first run earlier on in the Pista.
But what horsepower is that?
640.
It's not though, is it? Can't be.
It is.
Well, that's 700, isn't it?
710.
710. It's more than 60 horsepower in that, 100%.
What, between that and that?
Yes.
Maybe I've done 20,000 miles in that and that's dropped off, but that's four-wheel drive, it's heavier.
So it's a bit heavier.
Convertible.
So, okay.
That's definitely heavier than that.
Must be that. There's something in it, because this one, once it gets up and goes, is out of there.
Turbos, twin turbos.
Yeah. But it's interesting, when you look at pure BHP figures, though, it's not enough of the story.
There's so much more top end in that than there is in that. And the top end of that rev range, even though it's not a long rev range, it only revs to like 7, 8.
I think
like
you're
that.
right. I think it's the turbo.
Where that revs all the way up to like 9.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. I think it's just the turbo top end just gives it so much more torque in that last band of the rev range.
I love these things. They've grown on me massively since they came out. When they first came out, I was bemoaning the turbo a bit because they were less driver friendly. You know, the 458, you could turn everything off and just have at it. And this, it was actually better with a bit of support from from the traction control.
Yeah.
But now I was taking that on track recently at Silverstone, the GP. It just thumps around. It's just so.
That's
to
so
get up and
good.
go out of high speed corners is amazing.
I love it. That's why I've just fallen for the Pista.
Yeah.
But then as well, there is a big difference between value between that and that. So
what's the pricing between these two?
So I bought both of them used. That one was around 310, and this one was about 210.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's $100,000 difference between the two cars.
And has the launch control always been the same on that?
Yes. It's
low,
rubbish.
really
so
strange.
bad. Ferrari launch control is awful.
Really, really unusual because it's very low revs just don't go.
That right up the top of the rev range.
Yeah.
And then bang, it's just away.
Yeah.
Changes for you first to second, so you have to worry about it, and it surges first to second. It's so good because I think did that get the launch in the last couple of races?
So I put that in launch. I was trying to get that in launch control mode, and one of them it basically misgeared slightly, and then the last one was properly in launch control. But I just couldn't believe it. The revs were so low. There's half a second I stood still whilst you went.
The fastest time I've done in that today was when I had it in sport mode and I just floored it and didn't use launch, not
Well,
race.
I wonder if I beat you though in race. Because I had a clean getaway in race mode and I warmed the tyres up. And bless you, you've not been warming your tyres, which is naughty.
Yeah, but you can't really.
No, you can try. You can try. Even still, just pulling away
Not-
without
not
wheel
in
spinning
that.
will still do something.
Not in that.
So guys, if you see the drone in the air, give that man a wave. He is working super hard today. And I'll tell you what, this is truly remarkable, not only to capture it in real time, but look at this. Come on, I'm ready. Go watch the lights, guys. So basically the pre-stage and the stage on the drag strip basically gives him the place exactly where he needs to be. So at the moment he's behind his position, and when he gets up to that area and the light goes out, there he goes, that's the stage. He's ready to go. Oh, he's pre-staged, he's got to go a little bit further forward. There we go. Jesus Christ, on a bicycle. The drone is so fast. So Damiano,
That's so cool.
FPV drone operator, is supposed to be at work this afternoon. Once he got here this morning, just with an empty track, he got so excited.
As you can hear, there's a jet car behind me. These things are mental. I can't say that I'm overly enamoured with jet cars, but they are amazing for top speed. Actually, Santa Pod is on the short side for one of those things, but it's got a parachute, so presumably it will just do the quarter mile and then pull the parachute. But they're capable of well over 300 miles an hour, and once you light the afterburner, you're off. Let's see what this one does. The great thing about this being road legal is you can drive it to a place like this, go nuts, and then drive home. All right, let's see how close I can get to that bottle. It's all about precision and control. This is warm work. Can we call this work? Not really. It's too much fun. These Yokos are putting up with a lot of abuse. Hell of a lot of abuse. This is really abrasive tarmac as well. So most of them sliding in first gear. This thing's got 5 gears. There's no chance of us using that. Actually, looks most like I'm barely going to be used second. But I'm a little try in second. Let's see if I can feel the torque and see what she's like. So a little bit easier going in second. A bit more speed required to keep it drifting. What I love about these cars, they're lightweight, very chuckable. Analog steering, obviously. No power steering needed. I'd have to say I do like the extra space in the cockpit. So I'm not smashing my elbows on anything. Just all on the throttle. Beautiful. Ah. The dust. Ah. Oh, the dust. Ah. Should have brought a helmet. tyres are good. They're grippy, they're grippy. Right, now the trick is to get out of the car without burning your hand on the exhaust. Love it, have a British sports car being used as nature intended. And check out these tyres. Not a scratch on them.